All right, it's time to talk all things Lions and Bucks, including some predictions. I'm joined by WWJ News Radio 950 sportscaster Tony Ortiz. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Shayna.
So this is an exciting weekend, yet another one.
Yet another one, and there could be another one, as Gino Vici mentioned, that there could be another one later on if the Packers upset the 49ers. So if you're a Lions fan, this is the best of times because you get a home playoff game against the team that you should beat, with the possibility of going to the NFC Championship game, which could possibly be at Ford Field.
Yes, I want everyone to know we have a wooden table right here, and I'm going to go ahead and knock on it because we're not jinxing anything here today, Tony. Let's talk about the game. I mean, we've seen the Bucks before. That game was earlier in the season.
Correct.
Do you think that is a suggestion as to how this Sunday will go?
It's a suggestion, yes, but Tampa Bay loves to be fought down on. They've been looked down on the entire year. They weren't supposed to be good when Tom Brady retired. Baker Mayfield's on his fourth team in 3 years. Nobody thought he could do the job. They weren't supposed to win the NFC South, which is a pretty weak division. They were able to do that. And then last week, they weren't able, or shouldn't have been able, to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and yet they pounded on the Eagles. So I don't take this team lightly at all. And Dan Campbell had said it, and I saw it earlier, where, you know, they live and thrive on that disrespect. And if you're the Lions, you have to take them out early. If you're going to win this game, put them down early, force them to come back.
So the second half of their season went a lot better than the first half.
Correct.
How would you stack up Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff next to each other?
I think Jared Goff is the better of the two quarterbacks, but Baker Mayfield is playing really well. And he's a guy, again, when you give him that chip on his shoulder, he will play well. He can throw the ball. He's got a couple of talented receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He's got several good receivers in addition to that. I like Baker Mayfield a lot. I think people have looked down on him for years. I think he's a talented quarterback. Jared Goff's the better quarterback. The Lions have got to get pressure on Baker Mayfield, get him out of the pocket, make him feel uncomfortable in order to have a chance in this game.
Now, if Goff's the better quarterback, how did the defense stack up?
The defenses stack up even. I think, actually, Tampa Bay may have a little bit of a better defense than the Lions. Both teams struggle against the pass. Both teams do well shutting down the run. But I just think, especially the way they looked against Philadelphia, Shayna, that the Tampa Bay defense has the ability to shut down the Lions' offense.
All right, so with all that in mind, how you predicted Sunday's going to go? Maybe even a specific points prediction.
I will go with Lions 24-20 over the Buccaneers.
Okay.
For those who are so inclined, they're not going to cover the spread. But I just think that the home field is going to make a huge advantage, huge advantage for the Lions. I don't know if Tampa's ever faced a crowd that's going to be that noisy and that revved up. So to me, that's the biggest edge for the Lions. And the fact of the matter is that Jared Goff is playing well, and this is a team that seems to be focused on getting to the NFC Championship.
And as we've talked about before, the fans are kind of the 12th man right now. They're as much a part of this strategy as anything.
Absolutely. And look, Tampa Bay got a taste of it when they played Philadelphia last week. Their home fans were really noisy. They gave Philadelphia a hard time. But believe me, Shayna, you're not going to see a lot of Buccaneers fans in the stands at Ford Field. If I had to guess, it'll be 99% Lions fans and maybe the occasional creamsicle jersey supporting the Buccaneers.
I don't think you even want to go to Ford Field at that point.
I think if you're a Buccaneers fan, you might want to stay out of the building. But to me, close game, defenses will tell the tale, but the Lions ultimately win 24-20.
Yeah, you might just want to stay out of the state for that matter. All right, so earlier this week, Coach Campbell was defending Kirby Johnson on this hit he made last week's game. Matt Stafford calling him a dirty move. What do you think about that?
I think that you have to be able to tackle the guy. And if you have to tackle him low to get him down, fine. This is the second time that that's happened. Kirby Joseph tackled T.J. Hawkinson in Minnesota a few weeks ago and injured him, knocked him out for the season. Tyler Higbee would have been knocked out for the season had the Rams advanced. To me, you're not going to legislate low tackles out the game. The key to the game, the key to football is to get the man down on the ground by any means necessary. If you have to tackle him low, you tackle him low. I didn't think it was a dirty hit when it happened. It's unfortunate that Tyler Higbee got hurt, but again, you have to be able to tackle the guy and put him down. Otherwise, we're playing flag football, and I don't think you want to do that.
No, not at all. What do you think the team really needs to focus on, especially with all the hype and all the expectations? And people are talking what's next and what could potentially be next after that.
Shayna, you hit it. The hype. You have to not focus on that. You have to put that down. People are already saying you're 2 wins away from the Super Bowl. You're a win away from the NFC Championship game. It's very hard to ignore, but if you're a player, you've got to ignore it. If you're in that locker room, you've got to ignore it. You've got to focus on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because if you don't, the Buccaneers could pull off the upset. And believe me, Lions fans would be crushed to think that they beat a Rams team that some thought they'd get upset by, and then they face Tampa Bay at home and lose in that game. You can't let that happen. If you're the Lions, focus on one game at a time, focus on the Buccaneers, don't think about anything else.
Yes, I think it's going to be a good Sunday. I'm going to knock on this one more time though, while we're here. I do want to touch on a couple of other things.
Sure.
We keep talking about Jim Harbaugh. He's
Yep.
interviewing with a couple of teams that we know of now. Do you think this is real? Do you think he's leaving Michigan?
I think he feels the pull of the NFL. I think the one big hole in his resume is he's not a Super Bowl champion. He doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. He's got a national championship ring with Michigan, but he doesn't have the Super Bowl ring. Yes, I think there's some smoke to this, but ultimately, Shayna, I still think he ends up at Michigan. I think he returns to the Wolverines. But would I be surprised if the Chargers or somebody hired him in the NFL? Nope.
Right.
Would not be surprised.
A lot of movement up there.
Absolutely.
All right. Also, would love your thoughts on these layoffs we're hearing. Sports Illustrated. This is big, surprising news today.
Shayna, I was a guy who for years subscribed to Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait till it came in the mailbox. You know, I was right there, picked it up, read it from cover to cover. But I think that's the changing landscape now. Everybody gets their news off the internet. You go to ESPN.com, you go to Deadspin, you go to all of these other places to get sports, and Sports Illustrated is no longer as vital as it used to be. It's a shame. I've still got some in the basement, even as we speak, but I think Sports Illustrated is a victim of the internet age.
Yeah, so nostalgic for so many people.
Agreed.
Just the end of an era.
I know, and it feels really strange to think that there won't be Sports Illustrated out there on the newsstands or Sports Illustrated to pick up and just hold. It's funny, they have a commemorative issue for the Michigan win.
We had that in the news a week or two ago.
And it's like, it's great, but that might be the last hurrah for Sports Illustrated.
And part of that story was you got to go online to get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Again,
Change of an era.
The internet era has done in Sports Illustrated.
All right, well, Tony, always appreciate your time.
Shayna, thank you very much.
Right,
go Lions, I guess.
Go Lions.
And knock on the table.
Yes, we're going to keep doing that.
That's a pretty solid table.
It is.